Welcome to a place where the mysterious becomes the unforgettable. This metaphysical journey explores hauntings, UFOs, extraterrestrials, cryptozoology, and everything the paranormal world has to offer. Each week, guests from around the globe share their expertise, experiences, and mind-bending encounters. This is the Paranormal Voice.
Well, it's 8 o'clock, it's Sunday night, so what could that possibly mean? Besides, the Olympics are over, so all the Olympic fans, I'm sure you're saddened by that, but we have 4 more years, we can do it all over again. But big congratulations to the United States hockey team, well-fought battle. It was a truly amazing game. So, hey, to all those athletes that competed this year, everybody did a fantastic job. It was eyes on Italy. Fantastic job. Like I said, it was truly amazing to watch the Olympics. But we're not here to talk about the Olympics. We're here to talk about our favorite subject, besides, I don't know, whatever that is. But anyways, guys, thank you for joining me. I am your host. I am Dale. And of course, I have an amazing guest waiting backstage, a lady who I love so much. So she is so amazing, so talented, and I'm so glad to have her back on the show. Absolute sweetheart of a lady. But before I bring her on here, I just got one little thing I got to talk about because it's what I like to do, and I like to promote the hell out of stuff. But guys, don't forget, coming up August 15th in Hastings, Michigan, Ascension Con is coming your way. The first ever Ascension Con, and hopefully this won't be the last. This is just the beginning. But yours truly, I will be speaking at this truly amazing event. It is August 15th. There is a VIP dinner February 14th. All kinds of events happening. So, guys, if you're interested in attending the event, I believe the speaker portion of attending this event is absolutely free. But like I said, if you wanted to attend the VIP dinner, and they have an amazing Bigfoot hunt going on with my guest from last week, Ronnie LeBlanc, and of course, my brother over there, the RJ DeRoos, and you have Jason Kenzie and the She Squatchers. It is going to be a truly an amazing event. So, guys, you guys want tickets, you guys want to attend, you want to find out what Ascension Con is all about, then I suggest you go over to the Secret Code LLC Facebook page or over to Mama Mary's Facebook page as well, Mary Bassett, of course, and check out all that information. So coming up August 15th, we hope to see everybody out there. It is going to be an amazing event. Amazing lineup of speakers. I'm truly blessed to say that I am a part of it. So, guys, once again, Ascension Con is coming your way August 15th. And without further ado, let's get right into this because I'm telling you, from the moment she launched this path, this thought knowledge, it's something that I've been thinking about and learning about for a long time. So I'm so glad that she has come forth and putting out this program and helping people to discover where they fit in the paranormal. So let's just not talk about it anymore by myself. I want to bring this lovely lady out. So, guys, please welcome my amazing guest for this hour, the lovely Kelly Haapala. How's it going?
Hi, Dale. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's great to see you again.
It's good to see you. I sorely miss you. I miss our long car ride. We have to do that again sometime. That was so much fun.
It was fun, yeah.
So a little side note for people going, what the hell are they talking about? Through mutual friends, I got introduced to Kelly, and we were going to the same event, so we decided to carpool instead of taking separate vehicles. And I got to learn a lot about this amazing lady and just a life that was so inspiring. Every time I turn on my Facebook page, you get even more inspiring. And here you are doing it again, helping people understand how they fit into the paranormal, and that is a very interesting take, and I'm so happy you're doing this, because I'm telling you, if there's anybody who can pull something off, it's this lady right here.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Paranormal Archetypes is more like a framework. So it's 9 distinct perceptual patterns that can describe how investigators naturally engage with the unknown. So, we all respond differently to everything in life, which includes the paranormal. And how many times have we all, walked into the same place to investigate, and you might hear something and I'm not hearing it, or see something and you're not, it can be a different experience for each of us. And we've all kind of been, what I feel is a little pigeonholed in our roles, in saying we're a paranormal investigator, or the only other options is maybe a tech person or a psychic or medium, other than like an event coordinator and all that. But during an investigation, we're all kind of lumped in as investigators.
No, and that is so true. And I mean, I don't know what people's obsession with slapping labels on things. I call myself a paranormal enthusiast because I love all aspects about the paranormal. I mean, I do have gifts. I realize I have gifts. I'm still learning about those gifts even after all these years. But, to walk in, it's like, what really makes you think investigator? Because I know when I hear the word, I automatically think, oh, you must be a cop, right? But what are you investigating? You're looking around the dark for something that supposedly doesn't exist, but some of us believe. But I love your take on it. To the fact is, we each experience the paranormal very differently, and a lot of that has to do with who you are and what your journey is meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the same holds true in life for us. And when you were talking about labels, I completely agree with you. And that was the one of the many reasons why I began to work on this and research it. While I mentioned that there are 9 archetypes, they are not at all meant to label someone or to be like a personality type. There are personality tests in the corporate world, which I've dealt with for many, many years, called enneagrams. And this is a similar concept where you take a quiz. There's 54 questions, and it helps to explain what your pattern is for responding and reacting. And with the archetypes, you could be a primary and just have that one, or you could be a primary and a secondary and have 2 different archetypes. Very rarely are there 3 that someone is, but it helps you to see how you're going to react to something, which in turn then helps when you're going to a location that you want to either investigate or experience or check out for historical purposes. And like I said, how everybody is so different with the way they are catching, EVPs or anything like that. This helps to explain who you are with that and how you can work with it. It's just yet another tool you can use. But this time, I mean, I don't know about you, Dale. Lots of times I used to always say I'm my most important tool. I rely on myself with my intuition, with, as you talked about, many people have gifts, that you're relying upon that. Well, this just takes it to a whole nother direction where it helps you to enhance your gifts. It helps you to enhance your intuition. And real quickly, I know a lot of people are probably like, well, who is she to say who I am or how I, respond or what my perception is. And I just want to quickly say that my history, besides in paranormal, has been in sports my entire life. I have helped to, I won a national championship in soccer as a director of sports or director of operations. And I've worked with MLS and PDL and USL and all of that in soccer. I also worked for NFL Films for over 7 years. And then I was also in the HR world and the corporate world. So I dealt with staff and trying to figure out in both arenas, I was figuring out how players work together, how teams can be built, how people interact. And that is based on looking at patterns. And so, as you know, I've been off since at least April due to a surgery and complications in the surgery that I'm still dealing with. But during that time, I started thinking about that. And I was like, well, why isn't that in the paranormal world? Why aren't we helping ourselves and each other? And honestly, I know it's not a great topic to talk about, but I know just like in society, there can be a lot of inner fighting or not getting along, and lots of drama can happen. And sometimes that's based purely on lack of communication and on perception.
Right.
And that's not calling anyone out or saying anyone's wrong. That's just butting of heads where, you're not understanding it. And yes, there are people that are going to do things wrong, all of that. But I feel like I wanted to help in that way. And I feel like with the archetypes, not only does it help you in the paranormal setting, it helps you in life in general. And we all are trying to learn and grow spiritually and emotionally and as human beings.
No, and I love your point on that. And I mean, that coincides with your other project, Own Your Path. I mean, in life, yeah. I mean, as much as we would all love to say that we automatically click with everybody, but we don't. For one reason or another, we bump heads. And, I've been on many, many investigations, and I've had the great pleasure of working with many different teams on different projects and doing different things. And I love seeing how people work together because in the paranormal, I truly believe the people you connect with, you can work well together with, the better your experience is going to be, the better your activity is going to come out because there's just a vibe in the air. And it's not to say that, oh, just because I don't get along with Johnny Smith, that Johnny Smith must be a bad investigator. No, it's not true. It's just the fact that maybe our techniques, maybe our vibe, but what Johnny Smith is doing is just as equally important into the paranormal world as what I'm doing, what you're doing, what anybody else is doing. I mean, it's about a collaboration and find out who you work with best. And I mean, you said it. It goes through all the spectrums. And I mean, I worked in the music industry. You would think guys that tour on the road, like 200 shows a year, they all get along. But in reality, if you saw half these people backstage, they can't even stand each other. But when they get on stage, for some reason, they make beautiful music together. So it's like one aspect clicks, but I can talk with Johnny Smith and get his ideas and his perspectives on stuff. But can we investigate her? Probably not. But that's okay. We're our purpose and our methods. Don't have to equal each other, and nobody's right and nobody's wrong. It's just like you said, you put together teams by how people work together and how people play together. And it's like, why is that not in the paranormal field? And these are aspects that people should take into consideration. And taking this new paranormal archetypes, you are allowing people to kind of get a sense of who they are, and that with that they can then use it to work with people who they can connect with.
Yeah, exactly. And I like your point and agree with you about how you do find people that you vibe with, and that I mean, that's how we form teams. That's how, like for you and I on our long road trip was to Sage Paracon with
Yes.
MJ Dixon. And you find the people that you like to go to these events with or go investigate with. And that's great. And you have your own teams and everything, and you get to know each other and you get to know how that all works. But even when it's with someone that you know, I'm not saying that there's always where you don't get along, but you want to become successful in what you're doing, what your intention is as to why you're there. And if your intention is to help the paranormal community to learn more about the paranormal, to learn more either just in that location or overall in general, then why aren't we trying to do that? You know, we have tools that we keep coming up with, which are great. They're amazing to help us out with. But it's how we're interacting with those tools. And
Yep.
so you may know how I work. You know, we work together in an investigation. You may understand that. But once we realize how we are as individuals with that call and response type of thing, we can work even better together. I can be like, Dale, I know it's better if you go in first. You figure out the baseline. And I don't even mean totally technically. You know, you walk in and you tell us where it feels right for you, or where, you know, there's different, we all will have our strengths. And I think we need to play off those strengths. And like I said, this is just something to help along with that. Because honestly, we're already using our archetypes. We just don't know which one or how. And sometimes you might feel chaotic while someone else is feeling completely clear. You know, you may trust some evidence and think it's evidence, and others may ignore it. You know, there's just all these different things that, well, one thing I'm going to say is, how many times have we second guessed ourselves? You know, I think we all have had that imposter syndrome. We've all had where, depending on who we're with or what the situation is, where you're like, oh, something just came to mind, or I thought I saw something out of the corner of my eye. Do I mention it? Am I going to sound crazy? Are they going to believe me? I'm not a quote unquote psychic or medium, or I'm not that, you know, like you have so many thoughts going in on your head.
Right.
That how can it be clear enough to hear the paranormal too? And I'm going to go even a step further and say, since we all have these patterns and ways that we work internally, what's saying that the paranormal doesn't? And they may be trying to get a hold of us, and we're not hearing them because we're not working with our inner strengths to do so.
Right. And, you know, and I can almost, and I almost feel like to understand who you are and what you're about, and it also helps you understand why um, certain places attract you. You know,
Yeah.
because it's you know, like for me, I often sit here and wonder why I love investigating prisons more than I love investigating a house.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, and I often sit there playing, you know, with me, I think, well, maybe I was a prisoner in a former life somewhere. I don't know. So I feel comfortable being at jails. But a lot of the jails or prison settings that I've visited and seen, some I had the opportunity to investigate, but the activity that I receive and everything, because not only do we get to vibe with the living, but if your vibe will attract the other side as well. And in that, what evidence they're willing to give you. And this is where I talk about, you know, respect, open-mindedness, and everything when you're going into a location, because, you know, you see the provokers who think that's going to get a response.
Yes.
And it's not, but I mean, you'll get a response, but the thing is, it's not the same as if you go in there and you show a little bit of respect. In a prison, do you think that you should respect the prisoners who were in there because obviously they commit a crime, and for most of us, we think prisoners are the bad people of society, but they just made bad choices. It's not that they're bad people; they made bad choices. Uh, so clicking with this type of thinking pattern really helps you to understand how to investigate and truly and use yourself as a tool like I do. Like I love using myself as a tool because there's no piece of equipment that can make me feel or show me what I'm feeling when I'm in a location and I know something's about to happen because they can only detect it as it's happening. Um, this is, I mean, this is such amazing work and what you're doing. You're changing people's mind. Well, you're not changing their minds. You're helping them grow and understand. And
Yeah.
that's the same about paranormal equipment. You just don't go buy a piece of equipment, walk into a building, and expect that it's going to work like you see on all these TV shows. You've got to understand how that piece of equipment is designed, what its true purpose is, you know, its capabilities, what it's, you know, you got to think of yourself in the same way. And this program that you've created is going to really help many people if they truly think it's something that helped them up their level of paranormal investigations, experiences, and maybe you'll discover something new about yourself too. And like you said, you can apply this to your everyday life.
Oh, exactly. And, I want to say too, like how you said with the tools and everything, we have learned in the paranormal world, we each do a different way of maybe cleansing ourselves afterwards or before, or how to protect yourself, or, what works best. Some people, even little things like to have snacks with them during the investigation or have a
Very
special
important to have
flashlight.
snacks.
Yes. So, it's you already know how you work in that way,
Right.
but perception shapes interpretation, and interpretation shapes everything that follows, including how you are reading your equipment, how you are interacting with the equipment, besides the paranormal, besides with each other. And I want to say that with the 9 archetypes, I have them all listed on my website, and they give a brief description. And someone may look at them and automatically assume or feel like, oh, that's the one I am. I don't need the quiz. This is what I am. I know it. I can tell. Well, we can't assume things about ourselves, and we've all worked on, like I said, growing spiritually, growing to learn about, like you said, the tools and the equipment. We do research on the places we're going. Some of us even will take classes from psychics or mediums or others to learn to work with our own gifts.
Right.
I want everyone to know that the questions didn't come from the theory first. They came from observation. This is years of observation. And like I said, me watching not only investigations, but teams and conversations in the paranormal space, how some break down, or how some are perceptually, seeing things that others are not. So I started mapping those patterns. And with the quiz, it isn't mystical or like mathematical. It's a weighed consistency. So like no single question determines everything. What matters is how someone answers across the different contexts. So when the same response style shows up again and again, emotionally, cognitively, and behaviorally, that's where the archetype emerges. So this measures engagement style in uncertain environments. That can be whether it's ghosts or Bigfoot or UFOs. The same holds true. And I'm honestly excited because I've seen how this works in the sports world. I've seen how this works in the corporate world. I have firsthand created these and helped with them. And I'm so excited to see what it may lead to in the paranormal world. And when you think about it, other than tools and equipment, when was the last time something new happened in the paranormal world? Like a new way of doing something. We all have our little, like I said, ways that we go into an environment, but this also is not something that I'm like, oh, what can I do to be somebody in the paranormal world? Like you said, in my other business that I have, Own Your Path, it's about empowering people to learn how to own their path in life, to learn how to see where they're going, map their steps, and take control of that. It's not something I stick around for. I help teach how to navigate, and then I want you to be on your own, and that's the same way with this. I have a guidebook. I have the quiz that you would take, and then I have a guidebook and a starter's kit. And the guidebook is essentially like investigative DNA. It is like a deep dive into your archetype. It's about understanding yourself as an investigator, so you can work with your tendencies instead of against them. And then the starter kit really gives you the tools to put that knowledge to work. It's more practical and immediate, and it's designed to get you exactly using your archetype the right way, including I have flyers and worksheets in there that help you. You can use right at an investigation. You can use with your team before or after, or with yourself. I will tell you, they're not priced high, but they have a wealth of information in there, enough so that you probably won't need to talk to me again after it. Like I want you to learn from this. And it's essentially, for those that have purchased it and gone through it, they have said it's almost like a manuscript or a textbook. Like I have tried to check off every box that anyone would have a question on. And you can do it at your own pace too.
And that's the amazing thing. It's like I love that, and this is why you're so inspiring to so many people, is because your mindset is not about people having to use you as the crutch for the rest of their journey through whatever it is they're doing. It's matter you are giving people the tools. You're allowing them. You're always going to be there if they have a question. But it's like teaching your kids how to ride a bike. You're not always going to have the training wheels on. You're not always going to be holding the one handlebar while they pedal along. Sooner or later, they're going to have to ride that bike on their own. And this program and that you've created is just that. And I find it so amazing that just take the quiz, find out who you are or more about yourself, and maybe that will help you with. I mean, I know a lot of people are very passionate about the paranormal. They love the paranormal. Like I tell people all the time, I could eat, sleep, and breathe paranormal. I could talk about it 24/7. Is there something more that I could probably learn? Absolutely. And me, myself, I want to take this test. I want to find out what type I am, because never know. Maybe somebody might need a type 1 in their life, and here I am.
Yeah, and just so you know, with the quiz, that gives you the archetype cards. I personally do the quiz for you. So I will send you the link. You'll get an email from me afterwards. So it takes a minute. And then I send you an individualized link that no one else can use. And then afterwards, after I go through it all, I give you an individualized response by email that I attach an archetype card for you that explains your archetype. So even if you decided, I don't want to do the guidebook or the starter kit or whatever, you at least have the beginning stages to understand a little bit about your archetype style. But with that too, like I said, I'm trying to, I think I should probably back up and explain also, you know that I've been through a lot in life. I know many of us have, but I've had 2 major car accidents. One was being hit head on. I had a near-death experience in the accident, but also mainly in my surgery almost 2 weeks later, where I woke up in the middle of surgery. After that horrendous experience, I decided something needed to be done. This was back in 1999, and people didn't really understand much about anesthesia or anesthesia awareness, as it's called. And I became a worldwide spokesperson for Anesthesia Awareness Campaign, and was on TV all around the world in articles. I had people contacting me all the time. And I worked with a company to help get brain activity monitors in every hospital in the world. They're called BIS monitors. They're bispectral index monitors. And this was all for free. This was not to make money off of. This is to help people and to empower them to be advocates for themselves, to know to ask for a BIS monitor in any surgery you have. For me, for example, I had a lot of blood loss, so there was trauma, but I also have red undertones in my hair because I am Irish and I have cousins who have red hair, and red hair is notorious for not working well with anesthesia. And that's something back then we didn't know about. And I still to this day work on that. And very quickly in my surgery in April, I've had many surgeries since and I've used the monitor. And I did everything I possibly could to advocate for myself. The doctor talked to me beforehand, anesthesiologist. They even have in my records that they were supposed to use a BIS monitor. And last second, the anesthesiologist decided not to. And I ended up chewing on my tongue throughout my entire neck fusion surgery. Now, we're still looking into it as to whether that's something because I might have woken up some or what the case may be. And because of that, I now have many problems, but including mainly with swallowing. It is a very severe issue for me, much more than the regular dysphagia some people can get. I actually got damaged my vagus nerve and other nerves. I have a valve now that doesn't work. Food and water will regurgitate up into my nose continuously. It's major things, including I can't lay down. So I've been sleeping in a chair since April. So now I'm always trying to look at those patterns and those things that I can help people with. I am on the brink of launching something else under Own Your Path and with Paranormal Archetypes, and that's Own Your Sleep. And that is to help those that have trouble going places when they travel. Like I right now can't go to a hotel. I can't. I've tried once and had food stuck in my throat and everything after having like 20 pillows propped up on my bed to try to sit me up. It's a very scary situation for me. And so I was like, I can't be the only one who feels stuck in their home and can't go anywhere. So I'm now going to be working with the ADA and hotels and trying to get adjustable beds in hotels. And also I have comfort kits that I will be sending out to those that are either dealing with dysphagia or comfort issues for autistic individuals and kids. I have multiple different comfort kits that people can purchase before they go traveling to try to help them feel better. And I'm going to try to get hotels to have them there too, because right now hotels do not have, the only thing they do through ADA is the doorways are big enough and the showers might have a bar on them,
Right.
maybe a ramp outside.
Yeah.
So I'm just going into all this just to try to explain, this is a pattern for me. I'm always trying to help people out, but not in a financial sense of the way. It's I've had to go through this. I don't want to see you go through it. And in doing so, that's how, like I said, I came up with Paranormal Archetypes. It just was something where some people will say, oh, it was a download or you heard some. I don't know where it came from. I know my experience and what I've dealt with. So I know it was in my brain somewhere. But yeah, so sorry to go on with that, but I wanted to give a little backstory with it.
Yeah, no, but it explains a lot about who you are and why. And I mean, you've already kind of lived these programs. You've discovered a lot about yourself with the surgeries and everything that you've been through. And that's the inspiring part. And, where did paranormal archetypes come from? Could have been a download. I mean, Mother Mary, Deb DeRusse, they come up with all these crazy things and they just say it just hits them out of the blue and they don't know why, but they don't fight it. They just go along with it. And like I said, you guys are all truly inspiring. And I just love that you're bringing a new perspective to the paranormal because, yes, it has been a long time. It's almost like the paranormal has gone stale because everybody's not doing anything new and nobody's trying to really discover a new way of about the paranormal or how the paranormal. So it's like you're breathing fresh air into something that was kind of starting to dwindle. I mean,
Thank you.
it's
Thanks.
so it's
trying.
refreshing.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thanks.
but it's anybody who's met you and spent at least 5 minutes talking to you can see like, wow, like her brain must never shut off because it's always thinking, okay, what's next? How can I help that person over there understand what they're doing and why they're doing it? And this is what this paranormal archetypes is all about. Is it like explaining to people there's a reason why we're attracted to the paranormal. And I talk a lot about this in my talks and my speeches when I have the opportunity to get in front of people to talk. It's like there's a reason why you are in the paranormal. There's a reason why you can hear voices and see people that are not even there. And the person standing right beside you cannot hear them or see them. Or it can be vice versa. One can hear them, one can see them. And it's like, why are we not as good as a chip coffee in the world?
Right.
Another truly inspiring man. And like I said, it's like, yeah, we would all love to be a chip coffee, but it's just we all don't have those gifts. So you have to understand what's inside of you that helps you to understand the paranormal and why you're having the experiences that you're having and why you're attracted to certain places. I don't like basements. Why is that? I don't know. Maybe paranormal archetypes will help me figure out why I don't like basements. Maybe I'm buried in a basement somewhere. I don't know.
And there really is a lot of information in there. Like I said, I really have taken 6 months to write all of this, but it's been a long time thinking, and researching and noticing before I even started it. So it is a great deep dive into how we work under pressure, how we work in good environments, bad environments, in basements or in prisons. It helps to explain, evidence doesn't speak for itself. As humans, we interpret it. And like we said, like I just said, sometimes that's under pressure, whether you're scared or you're not familiar with where you are, anything can hold true with that. And I think we need better self-awareness with that. And I feel like one thing that has changed in a good way, but can be stressful too, is that, we've all noticed a lot is not on TV anymore in the paranormal world.
Right.
And we have a lot of people streaming now, or, YouTube, all of that. And which is amazing. I love that there's so many you can go out there and watch. And I try to support everybody. And but with that comes competition. And as we see, like you said, some will go in there and antagonize, and that makes good TV. Others just want to go about it their own way, and they feel like someone else is doing it wrong because they're not doing it the same way. And this should not be a competitive community. Coming from the sports world, well, today's hockey in the Olympics.
Keep rubbing it in. Go ahead.
Well, and just so you know, Dylan Larkin, I coached soccer and managed him for years. He grew up with my son, and so sorry, I have a soft spot there. But with that, there's different teams. You're definitely competing against each other. But guess what? Each and every one of those athletes are trying to support each other too, or should. Just like how they've come from separate teams and they're now on an Olympic team.
Right.
That's like how we do Paracons. We have our own teams that go to places, but for events or big group type of investigations, you're coming together.
Right.
Well, it shouldn't be a competition of, oh, we're going to try to catch this before that team does, or, oh, no, that team's wrong, and we're not going to go along with whatever evidence they found, or whispering behind each other. We're all here for the same reason, or should be. And that should not be ego-driven. That should not be where, when we go to an event and you walk around and you see all the tables out there and all of the people's businesses that they're doing, or books that they're writing, or whatever the case may be, it's great to go up and learn about them. It's great to support each other, because we all know the paranormal world is not cheap. Buying equipment is not cheap. And the last thing I want to do is make people spend more money. But like I said, I am trying to empower people to do better with it. But I'm hoping that maybe with learning a little bit about your archetype, like we said, it may help in every aspect of your life. And I would absolutely love it if perception was a little different in the world in general, not just in the paranormal community. And that's not saying any of us are doing things wrong or that our opinions are wrong, but you and I may see evidence differently. We may, just like how if you text someone and they read it incorrectly, that wasn't your intent that you were saying, but they come back and they're like, what the heck, Dale? Why did you, and it's like, whoa. No. Didn't you see the LOL on there, or whatever the case may be, And it's perception. We all have different education, experience, backgrounds, and intent. And so, again, I'm just hoping to empower and navigate. And, whether that's, if anyone ever wants me speaking about it, I can do that. I can help teams out, if they wanted a team-based, type of session. But, I'm just looking to be there if needed, type of thing.
No, and and you've hit on so many great points of what you just said. you know, it's it. I've never looked at the paranormal as a competition. I don't ever think anybody is better than anybody. I hate to break a lot of hearts out there, but Zach Bagans puts his pant legs on at one leg at a time, like the rest of us. He doesn't just magically wake up and he's got pants on. But but some people go, well, look what he's done. Well, that's great, but he found his niche. He found his passion. He found what he can really do very well. It doesn't mean like the average Joe that goes out every weekend and spends $1,000 on a haunted location to do an investigation is any less of an investigator than anybody who you see on TV. And I mean,
Right.
me and Kelly both know we know a lot of these people that you see on TV, and they are more down to earth and more amazing people than what you see on TV, and they're no different than anybody else. It's just they were granted an opportunity that, frankly, anybody would never turn down. Kelly, you want to do a show just based on your paranormal archetype? I think Kelly would say yes because look at the audience you would reach.
Well, yes
You
to
know,
help others. Not
yes.
yes for me, but yes to,
No, but yeah, it's to help others. But
but
I
yes,
mean,
I agree.
I think Zach
Yes.
Bagans does what he does is to help others
I
to
agree. I agree.
understand and to realize parts of the paranormal that a lot of us are not willing to really adventure into.
Right.
But
And
I mean,
some,
he's got an amazing team that helps him. I mean, Jeff
yeah,
Belanger, a really amazing guy, a guy I love so much. I
love
enjoy
Jeff.
being
Yep.
around Jeff because he's got such a great mind.
Well, and the
And
way he helps with finding locations and everything for them,
yes,
and not everybody understands that he has
right.
been a part of that forever,
Day
and
one.
yeah, and with just using Zach as a role model with this, not saying he's a
Yeah,
role model in paranormal world, just saying an example that I'm using of him. We don't know his intent. We know he
right,
wants to help the paranormal. We don't
right,
know his other intent. Does he like the attention? Does he do it for money? We don't know. And honestly, I don't feel like that should be on anyone to assume.
right,
And you can always turn the channel off. You don't have to
right,
watch if you don't like his
right,
style. And just like how I said that teams learn how to mesh together, the way him and Eric and Jay and Billy, how they all work together. They've learned how to do things. They know when somebody's off. They know
yeah,
when to look out for someone. They know, okay,
right,
Aaron's better at this than,
right,
and even when you're talking about like Holzer files or paranormal mysteries, how everybody says poor Shane,
right,
throwing Shane Pittman in the basement. Like you get to know each other
yeah,
that way,
right,
but you honestly don't know the full extent as to what you're capable of and what you're
right,
capable of as a team. And even if everybody is the same archetype, for example, I'm two of the ones that I am is like a threshold walker and a chronicle keeper. Well, let's say we have four of us that are threshold walkers. That's okay. Like there's
yeah,
nothing wrong with that. That just means we may pick up on evidence and experiences solely in more, in certain ways than in others.
right,
It's just like if you don't have a psychic or medium with you or someone who can really communicate on their own, of course, you can still investigate, you can still find out things. But I know that since finding out, looking into it even for myself, because I needed to make sure I understood it and made sure I understood when I went to an investigation, now using this, is there a difference? Is there a change? And I can guarantee you, I definitely saw a change in it. I'm more grounded. I'm more understanding with it all. It is honestly so enlightening and so cool to learn more about me. and if I can then in turn know more about the paranormal and help to figure some things out, that'd be great. I think that'd be great for any of us to be able to do. And so for this, I didn't hog it. I didn't keep it to myself. I didn't try to be like, oh, I want to be the one to figure all this out. No, I'm going to share this. This is cool. This is like, let's all get in this together.
No, and I mean, that is exactly who you are and who I've got to know over these last few years. You are very selfless. Like, you are about helping people to understand where they're going in their life, what their journey is going to consist of, while you're also helping people understand, you know what, as much as somebody might love the paranormal, maybe the paranormal is just not for them. You
Yeah.
know, it's a sad reality. And I mean, it's hard to say, well, what do you mean the paranormal's not for me? It's just maybe there's just too many things blocking you that you would not be able, because I always tell people you have to walk into an investigation open-minded. You got to leave all your problems at the door, because these are things that can affect on a paranormal experience. I mean, the great Dave Schrader, you know, look at his journey, and I mean, look how much he's grown for people who's followed Dave Schrader's career, and now he's a haunted location owner. Did he
Yeah,
ever
the
think
Palmer
back in
House.
the early days when he was just starting out that he would actually own a haunted location? I don't think maybe that was his purpose, but I mean, here he is.
Right.
And to me, when I think of a Dave Schrader, that is a perfect person to own a haunted location. A guy who's devoted his life to the paranormal. I mean, yeah, we can all devote our time. Should we all go buy a haunted house? Not always, because that's a whole other
That's
dynamic, and that's a show I
right.
want to do down the path. I want to talk to all these location owners, and I
Yep.
mean, a lot of them I do already know, but it's interesting to see, like, why these people are so meant to own the locations that they own. It's not by chance, it's not by happening. I mean, for a lot of us, we're watching it play out in the paranormal field with Jason Hawes and the Conjuring House.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You
And
know,
that's the perception of it too. How many people, already had maybe a way that they thought of him, good or
right,
bad. And then they see that he's trying to do this and they're like, hold on, wait a minute. Or, oh, that's great. I'm going to support him, without even learning the information. I mean, we do know Andrea, had asked him to help and everything.
right,
And which I think is great. But, again, it just all comes down to perception, just like how you said owning a location. It's how you perceive the paranormal and how much you want the paranormal a part of your life too.
right,
And for me, I'm not out there consistently all the time investigating. I'm not every weekend out there. And I'm not looking to own a haunted place. Even though I'm in a new old 100-year-old home right now, so who knows? But it's everybody has their place, and I think with archetypes, it just helps them to learn more about themselves and what their place may be. Again, not as a role, not at
right,
all, not as a personality. They're not now
right,
called a threshold walker. They're not,
right,
it's something that and they could even look up and see, hey, Kelly, who else is a threshold walker? And
right.
there can be groups on that where they can start talk to each other and say, oh my gosh, I've now learned I need to be looking at this in an investigation. This is so cool, and
Right.
it's just like I said, I always try to see the possibilities and the patterns, and I think it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, and that's something I never even thought of. Like, yeah, I mean, through this realization and finding out what type you are, yes, you can create a whole new fan base, or a friend base, not a fan base, sorry,
Right,
friend
right.
base, because, it's like, oh, I never even realized Wendy over there has the same abilities or the same type as I am. And you can learn off each other or learn something new, like what she's been doing all these years. So, I mean, it's going to be a tool that's going to help you grow more and more, because if everybody would show up wearing their paranormal archetype, you can see in a crowd. In this way here, you can talk
Yeah,
to each other and get to know and see, okay, and like maybe learn something else. Maybe, like I said, it's always a constant growth. And the
right.
worst word in the paranormal, and it drives me insane, is when people call themselves a paranormal expert. Exactly what are you an expert on? Because
Right.
I'm like 20 years into this game, and I'm still learning.
Right.
There, even people like Jason Hawes are probably still learning. Dave
Oh yeah.
Schrader still learning. Jeff
Oh yeah.
Belanger still learning. I
Well, look
mean,
at like Cindy Kaza. She's always learning. I mean,
yes,
she
yeah,
is always learning about herself and the world and how it pertains to her and how she perceives it and how she then in turn helps others. Like it's such a fascinating thing. I mean, how could you not be placed here on earth to take advantage of everything you can learn about yourself and we don't use our full brain capacity and maybe if we learn a little more about ourselves we could. But I agree with you, I don't think you can say you're an expert when we don't have the answers.
right.
There are no real distinct answers to the paranormal or Bigfoot or UFOs or anything like that. And I will say, Dave Schrader and I have talked about this as well, since you mentioned Dave, and he's so
Yes, you
excited
were just
about
on
it too.
paranormal. You were just on his
Sorry,
show, Paranormal
yeah,
60.
Paranormal 60. And with that, like, I just want people to see this isn't for newbies. This isn't for people that are just getting into the paranormal. It is for them also, but it's not just for them. It's not saying you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
This is something to, help yourself to learn more about yourself so that you can in turn do more in this. And then there's no archetype that is better than the other. You
Right.
you can look at all of them and see they all have such amazing traits and skills. And I also have in there how to cleanse yourself with that archetype, how to close out something, how to it's a step by step. Like I have a wealth of information in there. I think, to, like I said, empower people.
No, absolutely. I can't believe this hour's already gone by. We can sit here and talk about paranormal archetypes, and we will. I will have you back once again.
Thank you.
But I'm really encouraging everybody who's watching this show live right now, everybody who's going to be watching this show in a couple hours, tomorrow, next week, next year, please. The website is right here on the thing. Go check it out. What do you got to lose? You get to learn something new about yourself. I guarantee you, if you take this, you're going to learn something new about yourself that you never thought you knew. Because questions, this is how we learn. Like, people know I love reading books, and I
Yeah.
read a lot of books. It doesn't make me a brilliant man. It's just I want to know, I want to learn, because something that somebody like a Ronnie LeBlanc has to say in his book will resonate with me, and I will use it, and it will help me make sense. And I believe what this site will do, and by taking this quiz, you're going to learn something about yourself that you never knew, and that you're going to use that moving forward, not only in your investigations, but hopefully you'll apply it to every part of your life moving forward. And you'll see
Yeah.
just how much better you can be as a person, and realize maybe if every paranormal archetype got into a room and investigated, maybe it would be the most amazing investigation ever because you've got all 9 people who are all not 9 different archetypes. Let's see how they investigate and see what will come out of that. I think it would be a hell of
Yeah.
an investigation.
Thanks. And it's something that I hope down the road to do, events like that or to do experiments like that. And I'll just, say in closing that just like how we have glasses on, we all see out of a different lens. And that's the same thing with the way we perceive things in the world. There's a different lens that we all look out of and that we all
Right.
see. And it's not about explaining the unknown. It's about understanding how we meet it. And when
Right.
people understand their role, the field will settle. And when the field settles, like clarity of any kind has room to appear. And again, I'll continue to say it. I'm just excited about this.
And I'm very excited too. And I'm so glad that you took the time out of your busy life and your healing process to talk with the paranormal
Thank you.
voice and the nation. And like I said, people, once again, I'm going to put it up there real quick before I let Kelly go. Guys, there it is. Go check it out. Take the test, figure it out, find out and see what it means to you. And I'm so appreciative. Kelly, thank you so much. I'm looking so forward to hearing. It's going to give another talking type when we're all at these conventions now. It's like, oh, what paranormal
Yeah.
archetype are you?
Right?
Maybe it'll become maybe it'll be a pickup line. I'm a type 1.
There you go. Exactly. But
Like
thank you
guys,
so much, Dale. I really appreciate you. Thank
oh
you.
Kelly, I love you. You are my paranormal sister, and I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
that I have an opportunity to talk about another exciting project that you have, and I look forward to what's coming down next. So, guys, there you have it. Check out paranormalarchetypes.net. Take the test. Just do a little bit of reading. You know what? You may never know what you're going to find out about yourself. Follow Kelly on all of her social medias, Paranormal Archetype all over the place, or you'll find her under many many things. And follow her other project too, Finding Your Own Path, because that's an exciting
Thank
thing
you.
too. That's another really amazing journey as well. So, guys, that's going to do it for another amazing episode of Paranormal Voice. I love everybody from day one to day now. We're on the crawl to 1,000 subscribers. So, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe, hit that like button, share this video out. Let's talk about the paranormal archetypes and let's find out which type you are. And hey, if you've already taken the test, leave the comments below and I'd love to hear about. Maybe you might be a future guest with Kelly and we're going to talk about it and how you discovered something new about yourself. But guys, in the meantime and in between time, I always like to say is happy hauntings.